Get out of the vehicle! He's smoking a cigarette in his right hand. I can't see his left hand.
You have to be prepared as an officer to know that rage now, you've caged them in.
Now you got bullets flying, and that's not, you just don't want to be as close as they were when something like that happened.
The moment that car does strike his vehicle, I am all for 16 rounds going out of that weapon.
Tell everyone in the businesses, get in, get under cover, lock the doors, making sure all that so you can secure the scene so you can do what needs to be done.
The story is about choices, consequences, and the brutal reality of what happens when a citizen turns a vehicle into a 2-ton weapon.
Hill of Justice is sponsored and produced by Jermaine Delmas Studios.
It started in a line at a drive-thru at an In-N-Out Burger on April 30th, 2025. It ended with a man slumped over in his car, shot in broad daylight. But what happened in Manteca wasn't just violence. It was a tragedy in 3 acts, and this is what it was. A 911 call that should have been a wake-up call, a violent assault on the citizens and police, and then finally a fatal confrontation. This story is about choices, consequences, and the brutal reality of what happens when a citizen turns a vehicle into a 2-ton weapon. The question isn't just what happened, but why was it allowed to get to that point? I'm Jerome Hill, and with me is retired Sheriff Victor Hill, and we're your hosts of Hill of Justice. I've got a clip I want to share with you. If you're listening, you'll hear the audio, and if you're watching the video version of the podcast, you'll see it play out in full. So we'll walk you through what was done right and what went wrong and break down exactly how this situation unfolded. So let's go ahead and begin.
Hello, this is Nick calling from the In-N-Out Burger in Manteca, California, all right off of Yosemite, I want to say.
Uh-huh.
We have a customer who is being kind of hostile. He's in between both of our drive-thru windows. We had a customer at the drive-thru window, and then he was, slamming his car directly behind their car, hitting them in the bumper. But he kept hitting the gas, and he was, very intentional with it.
Okay, so he struck their car with his car?
Yeah, he's in a white van. I'll see if I can get the license plate number for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a license plate on the front. Looking in the back, the gentleman's wearing a 49ers jersey. License plate number. Are you ready for it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's stop it.
Is there a problem with the 49ers jersey?
Yeah, there's no problem with there is a problem with the 49ers jersey, but we got some bigger problems right there. So as you see, we have that person by the name of Nick who's calling into 911.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he's not describing there's a fender bender. He's saying, hey, guess what? There's some road rage here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an assault with a deadly weapon. And that deadly weapon is a Chrysler Town Country minivan. Now, the man behind the wheel is a guy who's no longer with us. His name is Charles.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not just impatient. He kind of lost it there. And so he's using thousands of pounds of steel to attack the people in front. Now, in that video, what you saw was circled there was the tire. And you started seeing that spinning. So the car in front either had it in park, and I believe had it in park, and he's just ramming that car left and right. Now, brother, what would you say at that point in time that we have here? I mean, I know it's quick and fast, especially but first of all, I want to give it up to Nick. He gave very clear directions to 911.
Took the words out of my mouth.
That was incredible on his part. He was cool, calm, collected, and that's exactly what we need for the 911 system when people call in. I know there's a lot of things that pop up that is very scary, but let's go ahead and be honest. Right there, I mean, that was the most critical moment, as in giving clear and decent description of what was going on.
Absolutely, and kudos also to the 911 dispatcher. They both are professionals. It was like you had a professional calling in, giving play-by-play, giving him all the information he needed. And then the dispatcher was also professional as well, too, because we know sometimes they can be inadequate, for lack of a better term. And then also, we're obviously dealing with a mental health issue.
Mhm.
And, mental health is a serious, serious issue that is a threat to the public. And obviously, you're dealing with someone that is not mentally healthy, because that's not exactly the most logical thing to do. Hey, I'm getting tired, so I'm going to take my car and ram your car out of here. So we already see we're dealing with somebody who is in an altered state.
Correct. So the first hero of the story is definitely Nick, and giving precise, information to 911. And he tries to go ahead and give the license plate number. I don't know if he was successful in that end of it, but it wouldn't even matter, because what happens next escalates super quickly, and this is exactly what happens.
Seat covers with American flag logo on it.
Okay, is he white?
Glasses.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
White, black, Hispanic, Asian?
Larger white man. He has a little bit of facial hair, longer hair on the back, tattoos on his arms. I believe it's a Vernon Davis San Francisco 49ers jersey, all red.
Okay.
And we're refusing to serve him right now because, like I said, he was very hostile with the car in front of us.
Okay.
And, we're trying to get him out of the drive lane right now, but he's refusing to leave. We're refusing to serve him.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me start getting somebody over there. Hang on real quick, okay?
Thank you.
And is the other person in the other car injured in any way?
The other people, we just had them pull forward right now. We'll go check with them shortly, but right now we're
Okay.
trying to make sure that we can get this out of here.
Okay, all right. 1 second, stay on the phone.
You're good, Cam.
Should we do that? Let's stop right there. Should we do that, brother? Did you see the driver gets out of the car at that time? And he's still spinning.
Yes.
At that moment.
Yes. If anybody finds themselves in a situation like that, it's best to remove themselves from that situation as far as they can. She probably had a car in front of her, so couldn't. But hindsight is always 20/20, and we're not saying people didn't do a good job. Everything I've ever done when I was sheriff, we always had a debrief, and it wasn't because they didn't necessarily do a good job. It's always how we could do things better. And anybody watching this video, if they ever end up in a situation like this, you want to put yourself away from that situation, and perhaps around, behind, or inside a building, something where that car can't do any damage to you. Even staying in that car is a very dangerous situation at that point. That might be a good time to abandon the car. It keeps them barricaded in, and then you go someplace else till the police can arrive.
That's correct. You could go ahead and put that car in emergency parking, pull that brake, and get the heck out of Dodge. Instead, that person walks up to the car. Let's take a
and
look.
That man could have well been armed. I mean, he's already armed with a 2-tongue bullet, and he could have well had something else as well too. So not a wise thing to do. When you see a person erratic like that, it's not likely that you're going to walk up with a magic tongue and talk them back to sanity.
Right. So let's see how this plays out a little bit more.
Through windows. Sometime at 4:15, there's a subject in a white van, white Dole, red Vernon Davis Niners jersey. He used his van to strike another vehicle. Now he's refusing to leave.
It looks like he's got a box of hazy little things in his car, too, some IPAs and 6.7%. He's taken off from our drive lane right now, and he just left. I can tell you the direction of which he's going in as well, too. He went, he just went around our store. He didn't leave. He didn't go towards Cane's or nothing.
So he had a beer in his car?
I just seen a box of beers, but I didn't see if he had any open. Now he's swerving out. He just took our drive-through sign.
Okay. He just took off, and he hit the drive-through sign. He's dragging it.
And yes, he's leaving with the drive-through sign. Excuse me. You have a sign in front of your car. Okay, perfect. We can let them handle it for now. Thank you very much.
Let's stop it right there. Brother, I was debating with you a few episodes ago on individual using the vehicle.
Right.
Okay. My position on that show, as will be on this show, that we got a 2-ton vehicle being used as a weapon now. We just had an assault on a citizen on that end of it. And now, as you can see there, we have an assault on a police officer on that end of it. Of course, naturally, before we go any further, is this, of course, we have a use of force situation. What are we doing?
Well, this is something you and I have always debated. And I'm not saying that these officers didn't handle this correctly or that's not a use of force situation. But I'm always been a proponent of not shooting at a moving vehicle. And let me tell you why. Even if you incapacitate him, you don't shoot people and then after they're shot, they put the car in park and put the emergency brakes on. Even after you shoot them, they're going to continue moving in that direction with a 2-ton vehicle, and now there's no way for them to stop at all. I've always thought that the best way is to meet equal force with force, which he has the ability to do because he has a car, but not just a car. He has a battering ram on the front of the car, for lack of a better term. So I'm not going to criticize these officers because ultimately we see what happens with using other means of force. But you got to really understand what you're using. He actually has a more powerful weapon there. But if you have a weapon just as powerful and you have something even that he doesn't have, you have something on front of your car that can take on force, do damage, it was probably better for that officer to stay in that car and use that battering ram on the front of the car as opposed to get out and put himself in a vulnerable situation.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So on that end of it, my take is he doesn't park from a distance. So yes, that is an aggressive posture that you're taking towards somebody like that. He doesn't use his PA to go ahead and talk to him for some type of dialogue. He drives his patrol car right in front of him, and he's just balking him. And he's doing that as a tactical move because as of yet, we didn't see him using the back of his car to strike anybody. Everything's been in front facing. So it's immediate, and and I understand what the officer is trying to do. He's trying to contain the situation. But once the moment that car does strike his vehicle, I am all for 16 rounds going out of that weapon and incapacitating that car. One of the things that you brought up was, hey, guess what? You never know once that he's incapacitated what will happen. Of course, that car can go backwards. It can do a whole bunch of other stuff. My fear has always been, and I always side on and err on this thought pattern. You have a worse situation with someone who is not incapacitated and doing that type of stuff to harm more people than you do when you try to incapacitate somebody and it can only go one way. He can't drive all over God's creation. So that was my contention, and it's still my contention on that. You have a man who's actually has already used his vehicle to vent his rage, and certainly trapping him like that. You have to be prepared as an officer to know that rage now, you've caged him in, and he's going to come with some type of force.
I got you. I just think that just like we use the pit maneuver to take cars off the street, which is justified because they're using deadly force against the public by driving at a high rate of speed to evade law enforcement. So you're essentially using deadly force, but you're not shooting from your vehicle into their vehicle to stop it. You're taking a vehicle of equal weight, hopefully, sometimes that's not the case, and using it to control that other vehicle. And also using it because once he's out that car, he's very, very vulnerable.
Right.
He's very vulnerable. So I'm not saying that I'm not saying these guys didn't do a good job. I'm just debriefing on things that I think should be considered for officer safety in the future and the safety of everybody else. I don't think the employee should go near that car. I think they did an excellent job, but that could have turned out wrong. The lady, and I think that in a situation like that, officers probably need to stay in their car and use that device. And also, there's some new devices that's out that could be perfect for something like that. They have these sticks that come out the side of the car, so you can disable the tires.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Right. Anything that can
Right.
disable those tires. Well, now he can no longer drive. And then now we can contain the situation better. As long as that car is drivable, the first thing should be, let's disable that vehicle so it can only go so far anyway.
Right. So a little bit more to your point. The officer's name was Leo, and when he did exit the car, and he was trying to give him commands, he was struck by the car door when he was doing that, and thus, of course, you enter into territory of deadly force at that point in time, because you just don't know where that vehicle is going to go, and you've now been struck by a 2-ton vehicle. So let's see how this plays out a little bit more.
Police officer. He hit his car directly.
Stay on the phone, sir.
G5, shots fired.
10-4, shots fired. 944, shots fired.
Sir, put your car in park. Put your car in park. G5, send me code 3, Phil, see the camera car. Stop! Stop!
Yeah, let's stop it right there. So honestly, what we got there, and I'm going to be brutally honest, is the sound of metal crashing into other metal. And this guy made a choice. And he made a choice that, hey, guess what? I want all the smoke I can get.
Mm-hmm.
And what you hear in the background, too, is the canine in the back. That screaming and fussing going on in the background. He gave a lawful command.
He did.
And I see no issues with what he did. In fact, I congratulate him.
No, I think he handled himself well. Again, there are things that you see. We hope that people looking at this realize, like the employees that were standing out there, they were almost in the crossfire. And,
right.
It's real important. Once the police engage, you want to I know everybody wants to sit there and film and everything like that, but if it turns to this, now you got bullets flying. And that's not, you just don't want to be as close as they were when something like that happens. Mm-hmm. And I think the employees did an excellent job to do what they were supposed to do, but sometimes people don't think about stuff like that.
Right.
And again, very, very precarious situation. And I think the officer did the best he could with what he had at that particular time.
Right.
Like I said, my debriefing is just, okay, hey, if the situation happens again, how can we do it better? But I don't see any problems here.
Right. He was able to go ahead and let's take a look a little bit further.
Sure.
What happened?
G5, shots fired. Turn off the car! Put your hands up and turn off the car! Turn off the car! Slowly exit out of the vehicle! Turn off your car! Slowly exit out of the vehicle, sir! I don't want to hurt you! I don't want to hurt you! I don't want to hurt you! I don't want to hurt you, okay? Look, I want this to end peacefully. I don't want to hurt you. I want to provide you medical aid. Slowly exit out of the vehicle. King 5, we're gonna need to lock down this whole parking lot. A-firm. Right now he's smoking a cigarette, not compliant. Sir! No, I don't want to hurt you, okay? Slowly exit out of the vehicle. He's smoking a cigarette in his right hand. I can't see his left hand. Hey, let's back up, Azzy. Let's back up.
Let's stop it there. What do you see? Are you concerned?
Well, you know, I'm not sure. Why are they backing up? I'm not sure. You know, what I would have liked to see then is use all these cars, use the front of their vehicles and get control.
Mhm.
A car from the back, a car from the side, and they all approach him from those three different angles. Obviously, there's a building right there where he can't get out anywhere. He can't do any more damage. Maybe even ram his car to shake him up enough to get him out. But that's what I would have liked to see at that particular point. But yeah, they're under. You know, it's easy to do shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Mhm.
You know, it's a lot of pressure shots already fired, but I'm not exactly sure what that thought process is. And perhaps, you know, and maybe it's something logical. Maybe if we could talk to the officer, he would tell us what he was doing when he did that. But go ahead.
Right. And I felt the same way too. You don't give up ground.
Yeah,
You know, you have an advantage. You know, you can see things more readily where you were at,
absolutely.
and you had other backup coming. So you have to
Exactly.
go ahead and trust your backup too. That
Right.
they're going to go ahead and be able to. Now you've escalated this, and you have more arms at this point.
Absolutely.
And so you know, at this point in time, I just didn't see the need for that. You know, be damned with officer safety. You're in the funnel already. I mean, he got a 2-ton vehicle. You got your weapon already discharged. And quite truthfully, you know, he is really giving his last middle finger up to everybody. You know,
Yes.
at this point in time, he's smoking a cigarette. You know, he's acting as if, hey, guess what? You just shot me like Tupac. You just shot me like 9 times. What else can you know, do to me? And this is what he does on this end of it. So naturally, at this point in time, what I did like was to go ahead and lock down the parking lot.
Right.
And what I also liked is make sure that the other businesses are secure, so there won't be any more collateral damage to what's going on. So I did like that, but that was odd to me too. What you know, I'm not retreating at that point in time.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
fact,
But you're right. That's what should have happened. Not retreating. Make sure everybody locks it down. Nobody in, nobody out. Somebody telling everyone in the businesses, get in, get undercover, lock the doors, you know, making sure all that so you can secure the scene so you can do what needs to be done.
right.
Yeah.
So let's go to the coup de grace here and see what happens.
Still can't see his, correction, his right hand. He has a cigarette in his left hand. Yeah. King 5, if we can also get notice to Starbucks as well.
George 1, George 2 on scene. 10-4.
Bird's got it already.
10-4.
Why don't you just work with us a little bit? Will, you want me to engage with him? Yeah, go ahead. Come on, partner. Hey, let's just work together so we can get you out of here safely, man. What's the problem? Okay, then let's get you out of here since you didn't do nothing. You gonna work with us? We're not gonna come to you. We'd rather you come to us so no one gets hurt, man. So that it's the safest way possible, brother. Come on. What's your name? We're past that already. We're past that. Are you able to walk out of your car? Okay, hey, tell you what, can you at least work with me on one favor for right now? Can you show us your right hand, make sure it's empty? Okay, just show us your right hand so we can make sure it's empty, yeah? Slowly move it up for us. Put your right hand up. Come on, partner. Your other hand. All right. Just keep it on out the window for us, yeah? There you go, there you go. Just keep it on out. Hey. Okay, we'll get you that burger after. Come on, why don't you step on out the car for us? Would you like to? Are you ready to move forward with this process? We want to get you out of your car. Are you going to work with us? Unfortunately, you are. We would rather do it in a manner that's safe for you and us, brother. We're not sending no one to you. Unfortunately, the other options we have really aren't the best.
Let me tell you, not that this is a funny situation, but obviously he asked for some other police officers. And I don't know if that was a Freudian slip or that was a guess, but he was like, hey, unfortunately, the other officers we have really aren't the best. That there, kind of made me chuckle. And he might have well been telling the truth. I think you and I both know what it's like to work at an agency, and the next shift or whatever might not be the best for real. But it was interesting how that came out. That was like a classic moment. And it wasn't rehearsed, so it's something. But that was interesting. Unfortunately, the other officers we have is not the best. But I guess we're running short on time. Maybe we better fast forward to the actual, because there's another firefight, correct? Well, not firefight, but whatever. Let's move forward to that real quick.
Yeah, it's completely clear. It's not good. Crossfire! Crossfire! Crossfire!
Hey, get gloves. Let's get a med kit going. Hold on, get that shield. Get that shield.
I got the door. I got the door. Yeah.
I got door.
Turn the back.
It's locked.
It's locked.
So, what's interesting is, okay, you hear officers talking about crossfire. At least somebody had enough sense to do that, because you got to be real careful in situations, because you got officers on the other side, and you're not just shooting at the suspect, you're shooting at each other inadvertently when bullets aren't stopped by the person or objects. And what was interesting when they're talking about ceasefire, now, it looks like a justifiable situation to me. There was a little bit of overkill there. I mean, at one point, the car stopped. There's obviously no more threats, and there was still this firing going on. I don't know if that was intentional as much as adrenaline or whatever, but there was, a little bit of overkill there. Do I think they're guilty? The wrong DA, and of course, they'll be charging them with murder. You know what I'm saying? Everything depends on who the DA is. If the DA wants to indict you, they can. If they don't want you, you can't. I think this is pretty common sense that everything was justifiable. In debriefing, I think I would definitely maybe do some training that, hey, if it stops, everybody got to be trained how to cease fire once there's no more movement. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's the incident that you're talking about is called contagion shooting.
Yes.
It's reflexive in nature, and thus this type of, or sympathetic fire, you could call that too. So you have that type of where the officers shoot simply because other officers or shooting. And that's one of the things that you're talking about on that end of it. So
Absolutely.
the threat was already done. Just to give you a little bit about the aftermath, of course, Charles is his name. He's a Marine, and or that's from what I gleaned, and he's no longer with us. They did render aid, but what happened was that they waited for officer safety, and a lot of people had some issues with that. They put in, of course, they had a battering ram, they had everything there to get him, and they used that a SWAT shield to go to the car, and so that's what happened.
Was there any psychological autopsy done on him? What happened the day before? Mental health history? Sometimes in some ways it seemed like he was trying to commit copicide, like he because he knew that was going to happen. But I was just wondering if we had any background on this guy.
No, not yet. And
Okay.
the truth of the matter is that it's apparent, right?
Right.
Something broke
Right.
with him,
Right.
and thus, a lot of people or critics are going to go ahead and say, "Hey, guess what? Could you have used lethal force?" And the answer is no. In that situation, there's nothing that you could have used. You can't shoot out the tires and everything. He was aggressive. I mean, you see him hit several cars, and one being a civilian. But when you are hitting several police cars,
Yeah.
this is the menu that you're going to have to eat from.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what happened. So,
Absolutely.
All right. So, at this point in time, we're back at this again, so I just wanted to go ahead and let everybody know that for now, with this situation, I mean, he's no longer with us, but, that's going to do it for today. It's an episode of Hill of Justice. If this story made you move, think, or spark any type of conversation, please do us a favor, like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. We do want to hear from you, and we thank you and our supporters who are giving us that type of love. So hit the notification bell and join us next time. Stay safe on the Hill of Justice.